Welcome to the Edge You Magic New Educator podcast, the go-to show for supporting new educators navigating the exciting journey from campus to the classroom. Join your host, Dr. Sam Fesich, for a blend of inspiration, advice, and practical strategies, one cup of coffee at a time.
Hi, I'm Dr. Greg Owens from the Reimagine Schools podcast, a part of the Education Podcast Network, just like the show you're listening to right now. Shows on the network are individually owned and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other interesting education podcasts at edupodcastnetwork.com.
Hello, Edumagicians, and welcome back to another episode of the EduMagic podcast. My name is Dr. Sam Fesich, and today I am honored to have Erica Terry on the show. We're going to be talking all things co-teaching, but maybe some things you didn't expect when it comes to co-teaching. Erica has a book coming out related to co-teaching. She's going to be sharing a little bit about that today, but today's episode is going to be very meaty and really exciting for those of you who are just starting out with co-teaching, or maybe you've done it for a while. And I think this is a new spin on a fantastic practice that supports all students. So Erica, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I am so excited to be here, and hello to all our Edumagicians out there.
Yes, thank you. Erica, I first heard about you when you wrote the book CEO From Classroom to CEO, and I was a fan then. And I'm still a fan now. And I am so excited for this new project that you have about co-teaching. Before we jump into all that good stuff, could you share about your teaching journey, where you are in education, what you're doing now, and what brought you into the world of teaching?
Oh, yes. So I have been around for quite a while now. Actually, this would be my 21st year. I started off as a high school biology teacher. And then from there, in education, we got to kind of work our way up the ladder, right? If you want to get those pay increases. So I became a career student and kept getting different degrees and certificates. So I went from high school biology teacher to school counselor. And then I went from school counselor to director of federal programs and chief academic officer. And all of that happened within probably the 10 to 12 years. Yeah. So it was just going back to school, moving up, going back to school, moving up. And such a good journey and ride. But that entire time almost, my husband and I were trying to have a daughter, a child. And it just seemed like it wasn't going to work. And after 10 years, we were blessed with our baby girl, who is now 8 years old. And at that point, I was chief academic officer of a statewide charter school, and I was on the road 3 to 4 days a week. It was the schedule was hectic. And I'm all of a sudden a new mom after trying for 10 years. And I wanted to be a mom. I wanted to spend time with my baby. So I walked away from that job and started working as a consultant for the State Department of Education. And I took a $40,000 pay cut.
Wow.
Yes, it was a $40,000 pay cut. And I had to try to figure out how to make up some of that money, at least. And that brought me into the world of entrepreneurship, which you brought up, Classroom to CEO. And so that's how all of that came about. But I I'm a full-time entrepreneur and consultant with this new book coming out. So 21-year journey. I definitely went from the classroom to CEO. And I'm super excited to be here today and talk all things co-teaching.
Yes. And, Erica, in your book, you call in Classroom to CEO, I'm referring to that book, you call it comma money. And, and you talk about that comma money. And so every time I book a speaking gig or something like that, I'm like, thank you, Erica Terry. This is comma money.
Yes.
This is not Starbucks money. This is comma money.
I love it. Yes. And for those of you that are like, what is comma money? It is when you have a side hustle. I started off as a side hustle, or you're full time and you get either students or you get consulting contracts, whatever it is, that number has a comma and then some zeros that follow it. And so we definitely call it comma money. We strive to make every month a comma money month. And so that is so funny. I love that you still reference that.
Of course. And friends, if you're looking into getting into entrepreneurship, I recommend that book highly. Anytime anyone asks me, I pull it out. I have it on my desk. I'm like, you have got to check out this book. And she has a podcast. So bonus. Yes. So thank you so much for your work with Classroom to CEO. But now we have a new journey, the InSync with co-teaching. And as a boy band fan myself, not only did I love the title of this book, but the design, the content, it is written in a way that it's practical. There are strategies you can implement. And what I appreciated most is that you and your co-author come at co-teaching from a different perspective than what's traditionally taught as co-teaching is a marriage, but you come at it from this other perspective. So I would love for you to start off and share out what co-teaching is and what it might not be, but there might be some misconceptions around co-teaching.
Yes. Thank you, first of all, for all of that. Your words are so kind.
Put that in a testimonial and drop that into Amazon for sure.
Yes, I appreciate that. But yes, so this all came, as I told you guys earlier, I started consulting, and part of my role, a huge part of my role, was around co-teaching and going into schools and districts and actually co-teaching partnerships to, improve services for our special education students. Of course, but when our special education students rise, then what ends up happening is that everyone rises, right? Mm-hmm. And so I would go into these schools and, anyone that has co-taught, it's not always a piece of cake, right? It is definitely a journey to get to the place where you and your co-teacher are in sync, which is why we titled it Teaching in Sync. But that is definitely a journey. So oftentimes, I would say even the majority of times when I would enter these schools, the teachers would not be in sync. I'll just say it like that. And I remember one time I was talking to a principal, and she was like, well, I just don't understand. Isn't co-teaching like a marriage? Shouldn't they be able to operate, like a married couple would? They should be, And so she started going into all of these things that as co-teachers, they should be able to do because co-teaching is like a marriage. And I just knew in that moment that I had to create something to just eradicate that analogy, that metaphor. It is so marriage. I've been married 18 years and that is hard AF, right? I do not want to have to come to work and be told that I have to operate with another teacher who I didn't date or I didn't have time to really develop a relationship with them. I didn't get to choose who I wanted to co-teach with. We were just dropped into the classroom together. We got our schedules, our names were next to each other, and we were told we had to make it happen. And that's typically, at least not here in the States, that's not how marriage works. And so we came up with Teaching in Sync to totally change that metaphor and the mindset around what it means to truly be in sync with one another as you're co-teaching.
Let's talk about that framework. Can you share with us, so InSync is an acronym. Can you share with us the framework and what that acronym stands for?
Yes, most certainly. So for any of you boy band lovers, you keep hearing us say InSync, and we definitely reference InSync a lot throughout this book because we changed the metaphor to be co-teaching is like a marriage. We said, no, it is not. Instead, co-teaching is more like a reality music competition where people might be put together in this group. You don't know each other. But if you want to win that reality show, if you want to win, America's Got Talent or any of these reality shows, then you're going to have to make it work with strangers. You're going to have to plan. You're going to have to, practice. You're going to have to get the lyrics, make sure you're in tune and harmonizing with one another. Your dance moves have to be on point. And when it's time to perform, if you win the show, you got to get the crowd engaged, and you have to make sure that everyone is involved and engaged. And so we use that as our metaphor, that instead of thinking of it like a marriage, you think of it like we're on this reality TV show. And if we want to win, if we want our students to win, if we want to increase academic performance, then we're going to have to make it happen. We're going to have to teach InSync. We're going to have to get what we need to do. And we truly give strategies, research-based strategies. We have a ton of resources that we've included to help you implement the 6-step framework that we've included for InSync, teaching InSync. And so just quickly to go over it, it's the I is for identity, because even though, we are co-teaching, we still are people. We still are individuals, and our identity should be respected. So we don't want anyone to feel like, their classroom, like I'm coming into your classroom. No, this is our space. Like, both of our identities should be valued and appreciated and displayed when people come into this space. This is our shared space. So we talk about how to establish that relationship and how to create a space where everyone's identity is shared. And then we have interaction, because we can't co-teach if we're not interacting with one another. And so we want to make sure that our conversations are not just, looking over data or talking about what happened in our classroom, but we truly want to get to know each other beyond the curriculum. So as simple as starting our meetings, we talk about, start with the little BS. Talk about what happened this weekend. Tell us what your kids are involved in or what you got planned. Christmas is coming up, right? Right. You got a vacation plan. Like, let's get to know each other. Let's interact beyond just I taught high school. So sometimes I would only be with the co-teacher 50 minutes a day, but we need to get to know each other beyond those 50 minutes. The S is for shared plans, because everyone should be an active participant in the teaching, the planning, the assessing, all parts of it. It should be a joint collaborative effort. And so we talk about how to use AI to quickly co-plan, how to set up electronic means of co-planning so that everyone is always on the same page. The Y in InSync is for yield results, because that's what we're all here for. So we want to make sure that all of our students, including students with disabilities, are able to meet grade level standards. If they are in that class, then we need to implement specially designed instruction. We need to, utilize small groups. We need to do what we have to do to make sure the crowd is in it. We are all in it to win it. And so the Y stands for yield results. The N is for investment, because at the end of the day, it's going to cost you something. And so we don't want you to have to, work before school, after school, weekends to get it done, which is why we utilize AI and teach you how to do the same so that you can quickly assess and grade and, data analysis, everything we've incorporated into the book to help you do it faster. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to commit to investing some time, some energy to ensure that this co-teaching partnership is truly helping to increase academic and social performance for all students. And lastly, the C is collaborate, because we're in it together. We are truly collaborating. We all have different roles, but at the end of the day, we put that together. And when we do, we harmonize, we make beautiful music, and we win the show. And this is not just for teachers, but it can also be with paraprofessionals too. And so we've included in every chapter how to implement these same strategies with your parapros so that you are utilizing and maximizing their role in the classroom as well. And so I know that was kind of long, but that kind of takes you through what Teaching InSync is all about and how we're hoping that we have just a great impact in the lives of co-teachers and also in the lives of students as well.
I love how you described each part of that framework. And not only can this be used with your co-teacher, but also with paraprofessionals and other support staff within the classroom. Erica, one of my favorite parts of the book are the mixtapes. I think that, like I shared earlier, I think that this is a fantastic resource for our student teachers, for our new teachers who are just getting into co-teaching. Where can we find more about your work? Where can we order your book? Give us all the details, Erica.
Yes. And so the book is available. Well, it's available right now for pre-order, but it'll be out on December 4th. And you can actually pre-order or order it everywhere. So Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, like any of your major bookstores, the book will be available there. And we have so many bonuses. We're actually at the beginning of January going to start a book study where we'll be getting together every week. And that's automatically included with anyone that has the book. There's like tons and tons of resources that we've created to help you along the way. And you can get all of that information by simply going to teachinginsync.com/info. And it'll tell you where to order it, how to access your pre-order or all of your bonus resources that go along with the book. And we also have a giveaway going on. So, everything is included on that website, teachinginsync.com/info.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And I'll make sure I pop that link in our show notes for today. Erica, thank you so much for diving into Teaching InSync, the framework, strategies that we can use right away when it comes to co-teaching, and rethinking what co-teaching means as an educator. Instead of it as a marriage, it's something we need to invest in. We need to have time for collaboration. We need to have time for planning. And I love just the resources that you shared in our episode today with the AI and the cohesive planning. Make sure everyone's on the same page. This has been such a fun episode. Thank you, Erica, for your time today.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the EduMagic New Educator podcast. If you found it helpful, please leave a rating and review or share it with a friend. Always remember, you have the EduMagic in you.